I'd like to call up a good friend of mine. Everybody give it up for Charlie Wilson.
I actually saw a firefly before coming here, so this is my first poem. I wish I was a glowworm. A glowworm's never glum, 'cause how can you be grumpy when the sun shines out your bum?
Oh, yes!
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah! Drop the mic, Charlie.
So I performed last month at Magic Theatre, so I chose 7 poems for that event and 7 different poems for this event. So I'm going to kick off with the 2 poems I performed like more times than any other, get myself warmed up. This poem is called Beauty. I wish I could burn beauty on the page and turn my rage into vistas of wonder. I'd turn these words into ribbons of hope and offer them out to the starving masses. I'd turn the tide of the world and lift up every person and show them words like truth and love are more than mere signposts. I'd rip out the belly of the beast of this grimy, grisly economic machine that steals the life of the manual labourer and starves the children of Africa. I'd make it clean and make it new and give it all to you and you and you and you and you and you. I'd bring the light of the soul to those sleeping rough and out in the cold. I'd bring anything to bear to hear them say, I have a place here. Sometimes I get swallowed in despair, a lascivious tongue that licks me clean, showing wounds that stand there raw. Every hour I ask for more. Every hour I call for power to stand up in the world and radiate and be the change and lead by action, a leading light in evolution of loving consciousness. Standing on the edge of drastic change, all that is strange blows away in the wind. Hear the cries as the old world dies, breaking through the bullshit, reaching through the tarmac, like a tree in the city, reaching for organic life. Give me something real, something to believe in, air that we can breathe in, deep and true, that fills our lungs with God's honest goodness. Not this toxic plastic throwaway disposable life in 3D, HD TV, iPhone distraction, pushing buttons, virtual reality, living zombies, consuming the earth and slowly dying one moment at a time. Break the mold and crack the shell and bend with a blowing wind. Kindness is contagious and everything you've asked for is coming. Coming. Yeah. So I grew up with addiction in its most extreme form, but I think the world we live in is full of addiction, consumerism, sex, TV. Some are more socially acceptable than others, but yeah, this is about addiction in its many forms. From a young age, they've got you on the lemonade. Sugar was my gateway drug. It led me onto harder stuff like caffeine. In America, they've got the kids on Ritalin just because they can't listen to some guy chattering on all day about arithmetic in a stuffy classroom on a summer's day when they'd rather be out in the sunshine playing. Who said humans should learn from books? I love reading, but my greatest life lessons came from human relationship, the push and pull of soul connection with friends and lovers, stealing looks across a dance floor or holding hands on the back of a bus. Some say cigarettes replace the suckling sensation we seek when we're small, but I want to live in a world of maturing adults who give to the flow of life instead of always consuming and don't need to rush outside every 5 minutes because they crave their mother's breast. Alcohol pickles your liver. Drinking drugs is no different to sniffing, but socially acceptable, standardized norms are little questioned and enforced by law. All I seek is some food to eat and a place to gaze up at the stars. I've been blessed with the skin that I'm dressed in and a world that's big enough that I'll never see it all, but that grows smaller when I feel how close my friends are. I don't want to suppress emotion or deny expression, to bury it all with the push of a button, to vegetate in a rotting state while X Factor steals their dying brains. It's a crying shame they all look the same and all they want is the promise of fame, that glittering dream of wealth and attention, cocaine, anorexia, and a limo to emptiness. I'd rather walk through the forest with a pace that's slow enough for me to feel my breathing, knowing each breath is a moment of expansion where I feel my connection to something deeper. Stop for a moment, looking inward. The brilliance of the soul is in the quietude. That's what we've lost in a culture so desperate to cover every corner with an advertising boarding, telling me my life rests on Nike trainers and that I'm worth only as much as they choose to pay me. But it doesn't matter, for my belly is full of these words that stretch over our skin, holding the light in, stretching our faith to its logical limit until every nuance of myriad expression in the dance of form and colour explodes 1,000 times, offering up the glorious sight of evenings dancing on the roof of your mouth, kissing the night and kissing the sky. I want this with my whole body. I stand, feverish, naked in the dark. Every addiction is an attempt to reach through something and find again that hidden connection. It lies here. Behind the breath. This is a poem for the earth. This is called Earth. Roads stretch out like tapeworms, a sucking parasite reaching right across the earth, a network of greedy fingers lain across a heavy breathing soil like having clamps around your lungs. And every minute of every day, the factories pump out toxic air, never-ending, unceasing pistons punching into the atmosphere with toxic, venomous hatred. And every day species are lost, never to be seen again, recalled only in textbook and memory, filed away like old love letters that will never be seen again. And sometimes these realities lay heavy on me, like the earth was my own body, and whales were crying inside me, dying to know why their oceans are thick with toxic sadness. Like my blood was the blood of dead Indians, and I could remember genocide like it was my yesterday, my family brutally dying so land could be claimed as property, American flags planted in blood-drenched soil, screams ringing out across the plains of death and dirty money. And this dream is still alive today. I see it on high streets every day. People everywhere like disgusting termites rushing to buy the next hyped product, endlessly buying, endlessly wanting, endlessly consuming more. Meanwhile, the earth is dying. To tell you to stop, that happiness can't be bought, that Gucci shoes won't fulfill you, and that everything comes at a cost. That every product is mined, creviced from a wheezing earth, and created in the image of people chained to a factory floor with no hope of escape. Like Prometheus, their fire stamped out, and every day their insides are taken and consumed by the ravenous birds of corporate greed. Caged in houses, people hit the town to forget the weak and drink away their wages. Sold the idea that freedom means being able to choose from 25 brands of toothpaste. I crave days of living in a simpler way, away from the workaday drudgery of straining to pay the rent, where fulfillment comes from richness of human relationship, and success is measured on the effort you spent on creating something beautiful. To live slowly and deliberately, to breathe in pristine air, and stroll along a riverbank, not in a crazy mad rush to get anywhere, to feel a sense of spaciousness in everything that surrounds us, and to give more than we take from the earth that gave us life. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have this memorized. If not, I'll have to grab my book midway through the poem. This is called Awakening. First line syndrome. Okay, I have it. From New York to Paris, they erect phalluses that scrape the skies. This male power shot for the moon and found barren craters, spinning in space and looking back down at a body of water, approximately 3/4. The hands that till the earth got given over to subordination, the spirits of nature reduced to a resource, fat cats gaining capital while untold millions with anonymous faces hold up the base of the pyramid. How much flesh gets chewed by bullets? How many die from a lack of nutrients? I turn the eye of the pyramid upside down and awaken my spirit. Kundalini rises through the spine and touches the infinite. The feminine face of God was alive in ancient times, and the memory awakens. I stand as a man born from a womb, held for 9 months in the matrix of woman. The thrust of male energy destroys whole worlds if it's not connected to its roots. Roots reach down into soil. In darkness we plant the seeds of awakening. Every vegetable, every animal, every man, every woman hungers for the sun, yet we get drunk on moonshine, playing with the reflections of light that dance on cave walls where ancestors left engravings, speaking to us through the passages of time. I hold beauty as the highest ideal and dance around my satori, yet walk with trembling hands, afraid to face the shadow, sitting naked and vulnerable. Sands shift beneath our feet, time's turning hands as the cycle repeats, drawing us back to divinity. Chaos become the genesis of peace. From the darkness of night, the sky cracks yoke, as we dance, bloodied and bruised, kissing the dew of a morning new. Okay, these ones are not memorized. These are newer. I have poetry books for sale for 200 baht if you would like to support a local artist. This is called To-Do List. Sometimes often when I write poems, the first line or the first few lines come to me, and then I know there's more there, but it doesn't come out, and then, sometime later I'll sit down and the whole poem will just come. So that happened with this poem. This is called To-Do List. For a long time, I just had these words in my head like, to-do list, do nothing. Do nothing. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's so underrated. So that's the first 2 lines of this poem. To-do list. Do nothing. Let nothingness wrap its nowhere arms around you and feel the brilliance in the stillness. Take a breath. Let the mechanism of the chest expand. Stare into the misty mountain to conjure up visions, standing on tiptoes to see beyond seeming madness. Passing clouds lie beneath the singular sunshine. Be the beauty, Let it unfurl like so many tales from the storyteller's tongue, filled with metaphor and meaning, honey dripping magic, dancing with the bees, with flowers in our eyes, until we peel them back and place them down the barrel of a gun. Cause no harm. Use all of your armory of love to disarm defensiveness. Stare into receptors, sinking into retinas and pupils filled with gold. Breathe into the vision and be the teacher by teaching what you most need to know. Jump into the fire, let every color burn you alive, licking you with inspiration. Strip away these preconceptions, laughing like a maniac with the heart of a child. Run through fields of flame with the sun at your back, your souls kissing the earth. Court infinity, take it for a candlelit dinner, tell it sweet nothings and gently go in for the kiss. Drown in beauty and never come up for air. Run these miles like they mattered, many paths up the mountain, yet the summit always remains the same. We planted the flag there before we were born, and all of this walking is a form of remembering. Time wraps itself around me like a leaf around a tree, roots reaching down into eternity. Give yourself to the seasons, burned with summer heat, brilliance manifesting as life teems and overwhelms. But remember to retreat when the winter of your soul comes around. Sit around the hearth of your own reflection, sink into the deep and swim within. Take yourself away to sit in the cave and then emerge into the sunlight with a sense of wholeness. Heaven lies within this frame. The keys to the kingdom are tasted by mortal tongues when they rest in the lotus. Give yourself to the river, like the droplet that cried for the loss of the cloud, yet plunged into the water with total surrender. Pluck feathers from the wings of angels, dip them in inky stars, and write your story across the night sky. Let your dreams bleed into reality by speaking and breathing and carrying them here, one foot in front of the other on a sandy beach where God carries you over. Remember, to remember, to remember, to remember that love is a verb and we extend the story of the universe through every little action. Dance for the joy of dancing. Don't get wrapped up in the question. Lose yourself in the crazy answer of love, love, love.
Yeah. You rock, you do.
I have two more. I hope you're not getting sick of the sound of my voice. This poem is called Samadhi. So for anyone who's not familiar with this term, this describes like when you're in a deep state of meditation or yoga and you reach the point of singularity where you become one with the universal divine consciousness and your whole body is infused with pure white light. I've been lucky enough to experience this many times. I highly recommend it. It's nearly as good as Breaking Bad.
Is it like being pissed and stoned at the same time?
Exactly.
I've been there.
Okay. When I poison the river of my body with alcohol, I am a corporate firm poisoning the rivers of the world. When I hold on to anger and wage war in my mind, I am a third world dictator committing mass genocide. As above, so below, as within, so without. When I sit in the lotus and cultivate the garden of my mind, I am a butterfly flapping its wings and releasing a hurricane of love. When I eat beauty and digest it dutifully and shit out poems in a rhapsody of praise, I am every star in the firmament of the heavens, kissing us with light from the canopy of night. When I see anything but perfection, I am lost in illusion of the forms of the world. Beyond these comings and goings, we remain nameless and faceless and dissolve into the brilliance of third eye indigo light. When I focus on the solution, universal forces conspire to let the road unfold in front of me. When I believe in my magnificence as a shard of divinity, it becomes a dream that bleeds into collective reality. Many miles we trudge through muddy fields, up steeps of mountains, through forests of loneliness, across oceans of desolation, into the cave mouth of hell. Through pain I was able to recognize myself, a dirty mirror that set me on the path of awakening. Through crucifixion comes resurrection. All souls are walking the path to redemption. Some of them rush like a river, trailing light through the sky, blazing a path for all to follow. And some meander, walking in circles, lost in reeds, flailing in the riverbank. Like the son that left home to make his fortune and returned to his father desolate and broken, yet loved more than ever before. Let me come home to the fireside of infinite peace within. Samadhi, Samadhi, Samadhi. I have one more. This is called Yes, and you will find out why.
Are you going to tell us what that means?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. It's the opposite of no.
I don't believe it.
Say yes to life, say yes to this moment, say yes to the glory, to the tragedy, to the messiness, to the incompleteness, to the pain, to the love, to the beauty. Say yes to this holy, eternal moment right now. Say yes to all that has been. Say yes to all that will be. Say yes to your wounded inner child. Say yes to your radiant higher self. Say yes to darkness. Say yes to light. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to God, to Goddess, to Buddha, to Christ, to Shiva, to Shakti, to Brahman, to Atman. Say yes to death and know that it is not the end. Say yes to all those that came before you, to all those not yet born. Say yes to the genius energy of humanity that will lead us forwards to our emancipation. Say yes to fully automated luxury communism. Say yes to the collapse of the old ways. Say yes to Trump, say yes to Brexit, say yes to North Korea, say yes to war in the Middle East, say yes to cancer, say yes to world hunger. Include all the suffering of humanity in your vision and know that all souls rest in infinite love, that this moment is perfect, that the liberation of humanity is assured, that we face the shadows so we may emerge into the light, that we awaken through our suffering, that all is held in divine providence, that we are, every one of us, gods and goddesses walking this beautiful blue-green jewel we call the earth. Say yes to it all and watch your life continue to unfold in ever increasing ease and grace. Know that saying no to the present moment is the cause of all of your suffering. Say yes, say yes, say yes. All souls are walking the path to redemption and rest in the heart of the One. Say yes. Say yes to community. Say yes to healing. Say yes to creative expression. Say yes to love. Say yes to connection. Say yes to growing food. Say yes to local currency. Say yes to yoga. Say yes to meditation. Say yes to tantra and sacred sexuality. Say yes to aligning with your purpose. Say yes to veganism. Say yes to hemp clothing. Say yes to raw foods. Say yes to green juice. Say yes to spirulina. Yes. Claim your health. realize your beauty. Say yes to dance, song, poetry, theatre. Say yes to transcending limitation. Say yes to the emerging paradigm. Say yes to Bach. Say yes to Shakespeare. Say yes to Da Vinci. Say yes to Einstein. Say yes, yes, yes. Say yes to early humans eating magic mushrooms and having an explosion in consciousness through the gateway of the plant matrix. Say yes to the Galactic Federation of starseed beings. Say yes to the Palladians, to the Syrians, to the Arcturians. Say yes to woman. Say yes to Negro. Say yes to Earth. Say yes to the voice of the oppressed, rising up against the dominant patriarchal imperialist discourse and showing us the story from every other angle. Say yes to balance, to equality, to fairness, to justice, to every human being having a voice and being heard from the rooftops of the world. Say yes to spiritual transformation, to emerging inside out and becoming the butterfly, flapping its wings in full glory. Say yes to Homo Luminous, to cosmic man awakening at every level, chakras aligned and making love with the universe. Say fucking yes.
How do you guys